what's up everybody? My name's Matt. This is Philosophy Guy. I want to, I've been having some pretty deep thoughts about life recently, so I just wanted to share them. Um, but yeah, basically my life's kind of been this, um, it's been me kind of trying to formulate my beliefs and values. And there's a point in time in my life where I got away from the religious aspects of society in terms of like these are the values that we should all live by, and kind of opening my mind up to maybe I can live by my own principles. Maybe I can take some of these values and apply them to like my own morality and value system in the world. So that's kind of what I started to do. In my early 20s, I deviated away from religion. It really opened me up to new ideas, and I think that was probably why I did it more of it than anything. I used to close off pretty much any ideology that was outside of my outside of Christianity. And luckily I took I kind of opened myself up a little bit to new things. And step one was taking this class, basically just a class of religion, just learning about different religions in college. And this really changed everything for me. I think learning about different religions made me realize that they're all equal and that not one of them is wrong or right. They're really just ideologies, and it made me look outside of what I believed so heavily in, and it kind of opened my mind up to different things. And at the end of the day, that was really the start of a really big growth period in my life where I was really open to trying new things and doing new things. And I came across a lot of things that I tried and to see if it would work for me or whatever it was. And I came across different diets, came across different lifestyle choices, and I kind of tried to form my own sort of like practices, so to speak, that really work for me. One thing I want to get back into doing is just praying. I think praying is really important for human beings. So I definitely need to get back into doing that. But another thing, this basically was just like a revolution for me. So I went through a period in time where I just started reading every book I could get, really a lot of books that were kind of like based on self-improvement. Like I started reading all these different books on self-improvement. First book I ever read was Think and Grow Rich, which is a really good book by Napoleon Hill that definitely opened me up to kind of some out there ideas. It was definitely a different kind of book than your typical, it was based on, a lot of it's based on a philosophy of life that can generate you wealth or just bring you things that you want. It's basically based on the idea that we bring ourselves our own reality. Like we're in control of our own reality, and we can shape our lives and take control. And it was a good book to read for that reason. And then I read a bunch of other books. I've read tons of books by now, but I can't talk about every book that I've read, but they've all had a certain influence on me and impact on me. So those have been pretty influential. I feel like I've gone through a lot of growth since that time, but this is kind of what I've come to. So I'll just go ahead and kind of start telling what my conclusions are right as of now, and these will probably change. In life, we kind of are forced to suffer based on the system that we're really born into. Unfortunately, there's tons and tons of people out there that just aren't fortunate enough to have enough money to just support themselves without having to do something that they don't want to do. The majority, and I'm going the majority here, 99% of our population in the nation is doing things that they don't want to do to make a living. There is very select few individuals that are doing things that they enjoy doing and are able to make a living off of it. And that's just the truth. So, 99% of us are pretty much suffering. on a daily basis because we have to do things that we don't want to do the majority of the time. Um, and I want to talk about that aspect of our society because I think it tips me more toward universal income. It tips me more toward like some sort of kind of out there perspective of where we could go and turn and with as a society where we could all just kind of live a life of doing the majority of the time we can just do things that we enjoy doing instead of doing things that we don't want to do all the time. If you get away from the mentality of, we're here to suffer, we're here to, we're here to suffer, we're sinners, we deserve our suffering, we don't deserve a life of happiness and pleasure and doing things that we really enjoy doing, we should feel guilty about those things. And that's a really bad mentality to have going through your life because you're probably just going to make yourself miserable because you don't feel like you deserve happiness, or you'll feel guilty when you feel good about doing something or something along those lines. So what life has opened me up to, what my perspectives have really helped me see in life, and I want to help other people see, is that we can make a life that we enjoy living. It is possible. It is very possible to create a life of just doing only what we want to do and only what we enjoy doing, and that really has an impact on our happiness. There's got to be things that we all enjoy doing. Maybe somebody out there enjoys going fishing or running or exercising or painting or something that's a hobby that you really love doing and that you really might be committed to. Maybe it's a sport, a hobby, a art, anything along those lines. What if we spent the majority of our time doing those things that we like doing, that we enjoy doing? Why can't we do that, right? Like, why can't we make a life of just things that we enjoy doing? Do we have to suffer in this life? That's what I've come to like really search to that deep question. It's like, is suffering really necessary? And I have come to the conclusion that the majority of suffering is not necessary. A lot of suffering we cause on ourselves. And, I hate to say it, but it's true. And it was true for me for a very long time. So if we reduce the suffering that we place on ourselves, and we only have suffering from our external circumstances that we can eventually change, we really can build a life of a life full of what we enjoy doing. We don't have to be slaves to this system of working all the time and doing things that we don't want to do. And I've seen my parents do this with their lives. I've seen a lot of people I know do this with their lives, and it's just because it's what everybody else is doing. And, I think that's a group mentality, and I hope it changes. But I don't think that I'm not living on that philosophy. My philosophy on life is to get to the point where I can do more of what I enjoy doing and enjoy my life and really find like experiences in life that are really make life worth living, and really have new experiences in life, like going to snowboard in Canada and going down like doing some crazy shit like that, like go and travel through Europe and just explore different cultures, going to visit Niagara Falls, just crazy experiences, right, that we're all capable of really experiencing in our lives if we really have the freedom to do that, if we had the money, if we had the freedom, if we had the time, if we could plan it. Like, there's all these things that we have access to if we just had the resources to get to that experience. So for me, I think my philosophy of life is that it's about getting to that point where I can do more things that I want to do. And when I get to that point, I can just, it's almost sounds like I'm just pursuing pleasure, but really what I'm pursuing is experiences, which in return is just going to help me grow. It's going to form memories. it's gonna change me. It's gonna grow. I'm gonna grow from those experiences. You know. So essentially, the meaning of life is for growth. And if you're not growing through your job, through your occupation, if you're not growing in life, then you're gonna feel depressed. You're gonna feel it, you know, and that is when bad things are happening. You know, when you're doing more of what you don't want to do, this is when you're gonna feel that negative emotions. You're gonna feel the stress because you know essentially what you're doing is something that you're not really supposed to be doing, and that's why you're feeling that stress and pain and suffering because it's not really necessarily what you should be doing. And that's kind of how I listen to my emotions. And I recognize them, and I realize that this is gonna be a long road, right? I'm gonna be doing a lot of what I don't want to do, but one day I will be able to do what I want to do more than what I don't want to do, right? Um, so that's really what I've come to realize is that we don't have to live a life full of suffering for the rest of our lives. You know, we don't have to work in these corporations for the rest of our lives and give all of our energy and time and to these corporations for our entire lives. You know, maybe it's just for 10 years. Maybe it's for 5 years. You know, hopefully you can make enough money and turn it into something that you really see as valuable and that can help other people in a different way, right? Maybe you can bring value to society in a different way than just an office job or whatever it is that you're doing, right? And during that time, you want to work hard, you want to contribute to the world, but I've seen so many people's lives get just absolutely wasted just doing things that they don't want to do. You know, and you get to the end of your life and you just realize that you just did a bunch of shit that you didn't want to do for the majority of your life. And it's, you know, that's what I see a lot of people doing in these big corporate jobs, and it's really depressing to see it. It's really shitty sometimes to be a part of it. I think I need a break from it all sometimes, but I think a lot of people are miserable because of it, and it's just kind of this quiet, nobody's going to talk about it kind of thing. And it's something, you know, we got to do something about it. It's not going well in our society. You know, I think there's the underlying issues, the underlying emotions, all the problems are gonna rise, and they are rising. And you know, there's incidents that happen in our world because it's just imbalanced. You know, there's not a balance of people that are enjoying their lives or doing more majority of the things that they want to do. There's this large mass of people that are doing things that they hate on a daily basis so they can survive. And then there's this small percentage of the population that's able to really like do more of what they want to do and are making a living off things that give them freedom to do things. And it's, you know, in an ideal world, we all want to be doing that, right? We all want to get to the point where we're that percentage of people that are doing that. So if we can shift our system in the way that gives the majority of people a freedom to do more of what they want, you know, and this is gonna take some. I'm not telling anybody how to do it. I'm just giving the idea that maybe we need to shift it. We need to shift in that direction, or I think for the betterment of like emotional and mental states and just a different philosophy of life. I think a lot of us live by this philosophy of life that doesn't serve us, and you know, I guess it's kind of easier said than done, right? I'm in the same boat where, you know, I'm doing a lot of what I don't want to do so I can continue to survive and pay rent. You know, we got bills to pay and stuff like that. And, you know, maybe eventually, I think eventually I will be able to do something that isn't so brick in a wall. You know, it's not so brick in a wall. It's kind of my own thing that I represent and that I do and I handle and I make a living off of. And you know, I can be my own boss and have more freedom to do more things that I want and live where I want, and I'm paying my dues right now or whatever. But you know, sometimes you got to go through that fire to get to a better life. But I think I I'm not going to get stuck in it, you know, and I've made that pact with myself. I'm not going to. I'm just simply not going to get stuck in it. But I just wanted to share my philosophy of what I've been thinking about recently. Um, you know, we got to get to the life that we want. You know, we got to create the life that we really want to create, that we really want, you know, and that's what makes life worth living. And I'm telling you, if you're not moving in that direction, at least a little bit, you know, you're not doing it right. And that's something that I'm trying to keep on keeping on. Like day after day after day, I'm just, you know, I know that I'm moving into some sort of direction. I'm moving forward with something, you know, I'm getting toward my goals. And I know that sometimes we can feel real stagnant in our jobs or whatever it may be. But you really got to stay strong and stay solid and keep that vision. So that's my philosophy in terms of what I've been thinking about and what I've come to realize being in the world for the amount of time that I have. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it and leave your comments or whatever. Let me know if you guys want to talk about another topic or just discussion on the bottom. Peace.